Longevity and persistence fight back. The settlements slowly retaken by original habitat. But the destructive force persists, driven by greed and expansion. The dark and brute technology refuses to leave. A grave overestimation, the reach of the scheme. Half of the origin system finds humorous, but they know that in the end, it's pointless to claim hallowed ground. I wouldn't have thought that nature could possess such reckoning. Smiting down filth and irritating development. Whatever corruption is thrown on the sacred forest, in time, is cleansed. And through the ashes of clones and muddy metal, renewal always sprouts new life. Oberon. Oberon was added in Update 11.5. Throughout small fixes and changes, he received tweaks in Update 14.5, getting minor based armor buffs and various ability buffs. Even after that, while Oberon had potential, he still wasn't a very viable frame when it came to endgame. Having some crowd control and healing didn't help him much in facing high-level enemies. Not too long ago, with Update 20.3, Oberon received some buffs to his powers, making his smite scale with enemy level, buff to hallowed ground, renewal granting toggle regeneration and reckoning damage buffs. With these changes, and especially recent Arcane Guardian buffs, Oberon can now survive high-level content and have enough sustainability to use his powers to their full crowd control extent. In this video, I'll show you the build I use for Oberon that features high power strength, sustainability, and survivability. This is Sprouting Essence Oberon. Oberon only has 150 armor, while its prime counterpart has 225, not much of an increase. Like most other frames, Steel Fiber, especially versus Arcane Guardians, is not worth using. Arcane Guardian now provides 600 armor increase, bringing your effective health to over 3000 and to over 5000 with 2 sets. While you can manage higher level content without Arcane Guardians, these are of great help. Most of Oberon's survivability lies in renewal. The constant health regeneration allows for great sustain, but is a channeled ability, meaning only pickups and rage will recover your energy to keep it up. For Oberon, I focus on very high power strength and rage-based energy recovery. Corrosive projection for aura, handspring in the Exilus for fast knockdown recovery, vitality for base health, blind rage, transient fortitude, and intensify for power strength. This will bring your renewal recovery to 114 health per second. Prime continuity with augur message for power duration, streamline for better power efficiency, and rage for energy recovery. Streamline reduces the blind rage negative effect dramatically, allowing you to cast your powers whenever crowd control is necessary. The very high renewable health recovery allows to have great sustain, which synergizes with rage and allows for a playstyle which revolves around gunplay. I like to follow the theme of Oberon, wielding maces. A more fun, underused but powerful weapon is Arcane. Although featuring the slowest speed of heavy weapons, it compensates with critical, status, and damage stats. Prime Pressure Point for base damage, Blood Rush for critical chance boost with combo multiplier, Organ Shatter for critical damage, Shocking Touch and Prime Fever Strike for corrosive damage, Drifting Contact for combo duration and status chance, Berserker for attack speed, and Prime Reach for range. In my case, I use an Arcane Riven mod instead of Primed Reach, which provides range, channeling damage, and critical chance. I'm giving this Riven away for this video, so check the video description and comments for giveaway entry details. During missions, a good initial boost of energy can either be focused with Zenric's energizing dash or taking health damage to proc rage. The latter will be easier in higher level missions as enemies deal more damage, resulting in more energy gain. By casting Hallowed Ground first and then following up with Renewal, you will proc extra armor granted by Hallowed Ground, in this case 568, which adds on top of Arcane Guardians and base Oberon's armor. This is a nice bonus for increased survivability. Even though Hallowed Ground runs out, as long as Renewal is kept in channeling, the armor buff will be retained. Due to high power strength, the health regeneration will allow you to sustain and take quite a lot of damage. With Hallowed Ground's armor bonus and 2 Arcane Guardians in effect, Oberon's armor ends up at over 1900, resulting in 86% damage reduction and 6800 effective health. With Renewal's 114 health regeneration in effect, you result in having over 840 effective health regeneration every second. Renewal's regeneration also affects your sentinels, companions, and rescue targets. Hallowed Ground is a great ability for static objective defenses. It constantly procs radiation damage, confusing enemies and turning them against each other. If you end up dropping to low health, you can always use Reckoning. It deals extra damage on enemies which have radiation status effect on them, which synergizes nicely with Hallowed Ground. While it won't kill a level 80 plus Grineer in one cast, it will blind them, reduce their armor by over 80% and proc radiation status on every enemy hit. This will give you enough time to regenerate with Renewal and continue the fight. It's a great ability to quickly take control of an overwhelming situation. During Eidolon fights, Hallowed Ground can provide extra armor to your lures, greatly increasing their defense. It also prevents status procs, which is very useful against Eidolon energy spike waves or Hydralisk magnetic procs. Renewal gives high regen as well, keeping the lures alive. Oberon has augment mods for his abilities. Smite Infusion, first ability augment which adds radiation damage on top of all damage done to your allies. A good way of boosting damage, and it scales after base damage mods. Hallowed Eruption, Hallowed Ground augment which detonates Hallowed Ground dealing remaining damage instantly. A decent damage augment considering Hallowed Ground ticks twice per second. With this build results in 15,000 radiation damage. Phoenix Renewal, renewal augment which prevents death once every 90 seconds. The cooldown doesn't scale down and counts you or your allies falling off the map as a proc. Quick thinking would work better with Renewal's regeneration in this case. Hallowed Reckoning, reckoning augment which spawns areas on the ground which grant additional armor. The spawned area radius is very small, and the armor increase also does not linger, not a useful augment. Oberon is a great frame now. Having lots of healing and sustainability allows him to do high-level content. It's great for Eidolon hunting, and Renewal also allows for pure gunplay. This is Sprouting Essence Oberon.